Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ahlan wa sahlan wa marhaban bikum. It is time for the signature hour right here on the Iftar Drive. And I welcome Moulana Yunus Kawnga. Assalamu alaikum, Moulana.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
MashaAllah, how are you feeling today? How are you doing? Are you good? Are you well?
Alhamdulillah.
MashaAllah, that's great to hear. And Moulana, time is really moving with us quickly. It is. And I'm sure, we can tell by what has been, read in the Tarawih. We realize the surahs are getting shorter and shorter, and we're finishing earlier than when we started the Tarawih. But that's also a sign that the Khatam is coming to an end. And of course, inshallah, we will continue with the advices from the Quran Kareem in this hour. So, what are we doing today, inshallah?
Today we're diving into one of the most famous short surahs, Surah Al-Fil. Everyone's favorite. After you finish a khatam of Quran, they say now it's a Alam Tara Tarawih.
Okay. So this is the one that the beginning with the Surah Al-Fil, the Surah of the elephant.
Surah of elephants, which has a very amazing story behind it. I think that's actually which is going to couple with our focus today, inshallah, is on the backdrop of the story itself. We all know that it's a very famous story. The same year in which our Nabi Sallallahu was before he was born, actually. We have that whole story of the army of Abraha who marched on towards Mecca with the sole intention of destroying the Kaaba because of what had transpired before with one of the men from Arabia who went and desecrated their shrine in Yemen. But this was like a payback type of a revenge journey.
So this king thought that he was going to be able to destroy the Kaaba.
Yeah, because you see, the main thing about...
How delusional was he?
You see, the thing we need to understand here is that other faiths, when they saw Islam, not just Islam as such, but when they saw different types of creeds, they had that notion of we are more worthy of a certain supernatural type of power than anyone else. So they were more Christian because they were actually Christian, right? So they had this, obviously by that time we can say they were the closest to monotheism, but we remember also there was those other people who were not sort of connected to a certain deen. They were known as people call it the Ibrahimic way. And now these guys from Yemen at that time now had that notion of saying that, you know what, we are here sent as the custodians of faith, and whoever stands in our way, we will destroy them.
Was the intention to create a different haram in Yemen? Well, they wanted to create their own haram.
Yeah, that's because they saw that most people were going to Arabia, the Arabian Peninsula, for Hajj. Remember, they still had the
yes, the Hajj was still happening. So it was happening even in the correct months of Hajj.
It was actually. However, the only difference was the type of rituals which were practiced when people went to Makkah at that time. Where you found people used to make tawaf around the Kaaba naked and used to do other blasphemous type of rituals.
And inside the Kaaba, there were different idols belonging to the different tribes.
360 different types of idols in the Kaaba itself. So, in a way, their notion was to destroy the Kaaba, but I could say the intention was correct, but now the method was wrong.
It sounded like they wanted to, it's like almost like all the tourism was going to Makkah. Right. So they were like, no, we want to come to ours, to come to Yemen. So let's move
let's remove the contestants or people who are going against,
Yeah, the people that come to us. That's why I said the illusion, because at the end of the day, the Kaaba was built by Ibrahim,
exactly,
alayhi salam, and Ismail alayhi salam, and it was under the order of Allah.
Exactly. There's the one part whereby they fail to understand that actually the Kaaba wasn't just a man-made thing.
Right.
A person came up and said, you know what, let me make a structure here so that people can use this as a pit stop. but this was actually an order from above, from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala
Absolutely.
himself, you know. So from that, that's when we see how the Kaaba had been preserved by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for all these years. The time came in, different civilizations came in. And then it was, say, reformed in the time of Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam and his son Ismail alayhi
Yes.
salam. Then later on, as the time went by, when the Jurhums came and settled in the Makkah and etc., and the made Ismail alayhi salam married the tribe, then now the Arabs Spring, I would say now, to use the word. I think it's the right time to use it. The Arab Spring started in Makkah. And it's amazing because when you look at all the points here, everything was directed by Allah. You know, like everything that happened was directed by Allah. So now coming into this story of how Abraham now is having this beef, you know, with the Arabs. Obviously, we could say that of that man who went and desecrated one of the monuments, it was just like not really a catalyst. It was just like, you know, waiting for something to happen.
An excuse.
Excuse. They say, okay, now they did it. Now they went a bit far. But the aim was that even before that they wanted to destroy Makkah, they wanted to take out the competition. And now they were actually given sort of an upper hand. So okay, now let's go and do it. So when we do look at the ayah, I mean, the surah, it starts with, subhanallah, a rhetorical question. أَلَمْ تَرَ كَيْفَ فَعَلَ رَبُّكَ بِأَصْحَابِ الْفِيلِ. That have you not seen how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has dealt with the people or the ark of the elephant? Now, obviously, this is a question that doesn't need to be answered because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is relating the story to Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who wasn't alive at that time. But just saying that you know the story of people. It has been narrated all over Arabia for so many years because this is a thing, like you said, it was written in history. So it wasn't a thing that just happened in that area and people were like, oh, only the people that knew that people like surrounding areas.
Well, it was an incident that all the Arabs knew about because they documented it, but also because it was so ajib. I mean, this man, Moulana, can you describe the army, the procession, and why he used elephants? I mean, that must have been for the people like amazing to see. People ran into the mountains when they saw these people, the army approaching.
Now, the one thing of the elephants was that in that area of Arabia, elephants were not, and I could say, known by many people. So many a times when people used to, those people who actually traveled out in terms of business, the merchants knew about the elephants, but they went to the south, let's say towards the south Yemen side, and they went to Persia and they saw elephants there. And some actually went to saw elephants. So when they came back from these journeys, they used to narrate stories to the people that there's this big animal with big ears and a long trunk, etc. So people used to be amazed that, wow, is there such a thing like that? But now, in terms of using them for the war, now this was more of creating that awe towards people. But at the same time, amazing was that the elephants are very, amongst, I could say, a few animals tamed and that it actually can take orders from the owner, etc. If you look at the other civilizations like the people from Vietnam, the Vietnamese, how they had for generations in sync with elephants and have this sort of a existing type of a relationship with the elephants. So much so that actually they put them on a pedestal. It's no more like a connection, but it's more like we're taking care of them because they are like an embodiment of a god type of a belief that they have in them. Anyway, so in terms of using the elephants now, another thing, amazing thing is how they adorn the elephants that were coming to war.
Right.
So now these elephants would be
So it was a spectacle. It was something to be
something
seen.
to see, and at the same time, it was like just this whole atmosphere that the elephant brought all together. So on the tusks that they would put like spikes, where the elephant would come and start running through a crowd of people to just take out people, like hundreds of people, in the number, just very destructive. I mean, elephants, especially when they're agitated, they lose their mind, right? That's why the angry, angry. And the other thing was that obviously elephant is strong. It's not easy to take one down unless a person is really unless a person is skilled, a skilled, what you call it, huntsman, then you can take it down, knows where to step. But when you're in a position where you don't know what this elephant is or this animal is, it's the first time you encounter it, you don't even think, where's this weakest point? So it was just a strategic type of point of having these elephants with them, and how they had the whole vibe of just putting fear in the enemies or in the opposition army.
Right. And the Arabs actually ran up the mountains when they
They
saw
did
this
because
army
it
coming.
was a spectacular type of a view. That like they never seen this before. I mean, they're used to
Mm.
camels and horses and other smaller animals. Now
Yeah.
they see this huge elephant coming up, massive, with spikes on its tusks, wearing chains and clad in armor, whereby you are just amazed at what is this. Some actually thought these were like different types of creation. Now it was something which was used by the Yemenis or let's say the Abyssinians at that time. Now, so not just a spectacular type of a mood. You know, when you're a person who loves history, you just think about this. You see how also the Persians used to use elephants as a weapon, and
Mm.
this actually helped them a lot in terms of the wars they used to fight. Like when you look at Surah Rum, how Allah Subhanahu speaks about the Romans when they used to fight with the Persians used to win. They had an upper hand because of this, the strategies they had, the elephants they used, etc. Then you see how this, I could say, very effective having these elephants with them was. Hence, the surah now comes to be called Al-Fil because of the whole point of having elephants in their army. Um, now to take our attention onto the point, onto the matter, also not starts with the question. Because we know, according to any language, you don't just start a sentence with a question. You know, you have to have a proper structured
Absolutely.
sentence. I just wanted to ask us, like, have you heard of that story about the elephants? Or do you remember what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how he dealt with those elephants, or the people of the elephants? And the second part, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that, Alam yaj'al kaydahum fi tadlil. It goes to the point that they did not destroy or did not break down their whole aim or their whole plot that they had against
Yes.
the people of Arabia.
Right. And that plot and that aim was to defeat or to take over or to destroy the Kaaba.
Was to destroy the Kaaba.
Subhanallah. An incident comes to mind, Moulana, that the grandfather of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was still alive at that time, and he was the custodian of the Haram Sharif, and the people came to him and said to him that they, are you not going to defend Makkah? Are you not going to defend the Kaaba? And he said something to the fact that the Rabb of the Kaaba will defend the Kaaba itself. And he decided he's going to uplift the mountain. And the rest, and you know what happened after that.
No, this subhanallah. Actually, a major point there was that when the army of Abraha got to the outskirts of Mecca, um, amongst them they sent some of the, you have like the scouts. They went in, and actually there was a youngster who was grazing the camels of the Muttalib on the outskirts, and they went and they actually hijacked the camels. So when the youngster went back and told Abdul Muttalib that that's what happened, that's when he went to see Abraha and his people on the outskirts of Mecca. And now these people that received him thinking he's like, the king of Mecca, the way he was dressing and how he had a small entourage with him. So they greeted him, he sat with them. So as they're talking now, he was only concerned with his camels. So Abraha, according to the narrations, that he said he was disappointed. He said, "I can't understand how you come all the way from your home, coming here
Right.
to speak to me just to negotiate about your camels." That's when he said, "You know what? The Kaaba, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the Lord of the Kaaba.
Subhanallah.
So Allah will take care of this Kaaba. However, I'm the custodian of these camels
These
here.
camels. So
So
can I get my camels, please?
I'm here for mine. What's mine? So if you have beef with Allah, you sort it out with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not me." Right? So that was the fascinating point of that. Now that's where we understand the whole concept of tawakkul. How
Okay.
many a times people think that tawakkul, having reliance or trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala means that you just sit and say, Allah will take care of it. But they saw that they couldn't defeat this army, right? The one thing was that they did whatever they had to do to protect themselves. Then whatever was there, then they left the rest to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now you look at that other hadith, subhanAllah, it always plays in my mind when Nabi Karim Sallallahu says that لو أنكم تتوكلون على الله حق توكله لرزقكم كما يرزق الطير
طيب.
تغدو خماصا وتروح بطانا.
صدقت.
If you were to believe in Allah accordingly, like when you say haqqa, Like وَمَا قَدَرُوا اللَّهَ حَقَّ قَدَرِهِ. They did not really appreciate Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accordingly the way it's
Right.
supposed to be done. You know,
Right.
if you had the proper amount of reliance on Allah, how you're supposed to have, you won't even worry about anything. Now, this is amazing. This hadith doesn't mean that you have to be complacent.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't tell you that. This hadith is saying that, look, in order for you to present tawakkul, look at how the bird lives. Wakes up in the morning, doesn't have a fridge, doesn't have a storage in its house. It goes out, it gets whatever it gets, comes back. It has its just for the day is done. It can even feed its chicks, etc., etc. So now, it has tawakkul. However, for you, you're not in that luxury of doing that. You still have to do that. That's when that other point of tie your camels before you, comes in also into play. So they did whatever they had to do, and they left the rest to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
You're talking about the Quraysh, right?
The Quraysh, talking about the Abdul Muttalib and his people at that time. Then you look at now, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us now, narrating the whole story of Ashabul Fil. Then He says that وَأَرْسَلَ عَلَيْهِمْ طَيْرًا أَبَابِيلَ. Now he sent against them flocks of birds. So many people say ababil is a type of bird. Some say it's like sparrows, some like nightingale, whatever, which part of bird it is. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Anyway, but however, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent these birds holding pebbles in, they say three, one had like two in each talon claws, and one in each claw, and the one in the beak. Now, the amazing part of this was how the next ayah says, "تَرْمِيهِمْ بِحِجَارَةٍ مِّن سِجِّيلٍ." Like when they used to throw down those rocks, those rocks came pelting down,
With force.
with force. Like how when you think of a volcano eruption, like a volcano when it erupts and all that lava shoots out, it comes out with force. Or maybe you think of an asteroid that shoots from the sky, like that. So that's how the force that it had. However, now those stones were baked clay, but
Mm. Mm.
subhanAllah, the interesting thing about them is that whenever they hit a person, then not only that part was affected, but the whole body got affected. So much so some say they actually it caused like a sort of disease in the person that the person would die in a few hours.
So you're talking about the pebbles
The
when
pebbles,
the pebbles hit any of
any
the
of
upper
the
house
on
soldiers.
the arm,
Mm.
yes. So it will cause some sort of a disease, then the person's body will rot in a few hours and just die on the spot.
Subhanallah. But the pebbles were also piercing the armor
Pebbles were so amazing. They said it was actually piercing the armor, going for the
from a
flesh.
bird that's flying in the sky.
Now that part comes, you see, when you say min sijil, another translation says that min sijil actually means that sajjala means that it was recorded. Is it was written that this pebble is going to kill this person and
Okay, each pebble was recorded for
recorded for a
each
certain
victim.
person, for each victim. So hence
Subhanallah.
it pierced the armor because it was meant to touch the flesh. So this is a phenomenal part about the story that it's just amazing. Achievement, just sit and think about it. It's like something that it's a phenomenal type of incident.
This is when you marvel at the ability of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and what He's able to do without, I mean, Allah ta'ala works with means without means against means. It's just a miracle.
Everything is just asbab, just
Yes.
means. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wishes actually to get rid of a nation, doesn't even need to say by the way. Because many times he says kun, fayakun. No, it doesn't even need to say kun. It just happens. But the thing is, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is just showing us that he's patient with us. He's patient. But when the time comes, he doesn't let go. Then the last ayah, he says that فَجَعَلَهُمْ كَعَصْفٍ مَأْكُولٍ. However, now these pebbles left them looking like chewed up straw. Or, this part is amazing. It left them rotten, like they were eaten by worms.
Right.
Like they were just disintegrated.
Well, now, before you finish, I do have an announcement. It is the 10th announcement that I need to make, but we're going to take a short break and then come back. Before we come back, let me just do this announcement. And Moulana, inshallah, you come back with the dua because it's almost time now, or it is time. But here's the announcement. Sentio is an ethically based asset manager focused on delivering superior risk-adjusted returns for their clients regardless of market conditions. For more information on their Sharia investment products, visit the website www.sentio-capital.com and start saving towards your investment goals today. Sentio Capital Management invest for good. Center Capital Management is an authorized FSP. Jazakallah Moulana, beautiful tafsir that you've given us there, but also very important lessons that we learn, inshallah. We're going to take a break and come back, and Moulana will give us the dua just before it's out.
You are listening to Salaamedia live from our headquarters in South Africa. This is Salaamedia, keeping you company this Ramadan.
There's no smell that takes me back to the comfort of my childhood than the smell of blackseed oil being applied by my nanny.
Maybe I want to buy
Now I'm
cheaper
using
cake.
tip blackseed
Who?
for my own health.
Elon Musk bought
Oh, yeah. I saw a tweet that Elon Musk, after he spent 44 million, he realized that billion.
Wow.
Before he realized you can get it for free on the App Store.
Wow.
Finding comfort and shifa in trusted treatments like tip blackseed. You can find tip blackseed at all leading pharmacies or find out more at blackseed.co.za.
Okay, now.
Salaamedia, your link to a spiritual Ramadan.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم لك سمنا وبك آمنا وعلى رزقك افطرنا فتقبل منا يا رب العالمين. اللهم إنك عفو كريم تحب العفو فاعف عنا. اللهم تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم. وتب علينا يا مولانا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.
Live and fresh on Salaamedia, spiritual companion this Ramadan.
Zakah has the power to end extreme